They made me feel like I was worthless and disposable.
Powerless, frustrated,
insulted,
Angry.
Offended. Like this day and age that's going on.
Speaking exclusively to NBC News, these 10 former FBI trainees described what they call a good old boy network at the training academy in Quantico, Virginia, fostering, among other things, harassment, discrimination, and retaliation against women. 5 of the women asked that we not use their full names on camera. Late Wednesday, they filed a class action complaint against the Department of Justice.
How many of you believe there is a systemic problem of discrimination at the FBI and specifically the Academy? Everybody.
I'd say I went in extremely optimistic, naive almost, but the first day I got there, there were comments on what I was wearing, and sexual harassment started about 2 weeks in.
Did you tell anyone about it at the time?
So I told my counselor about these things, and she acknowledged the environment there. She said, quote, "This place is going to treat you like that. If you want to make it through, you have to keep your head down, stay quiet, and play the game."
Trainees go through a 5-month course. If they slip up, they get citations, which could lead to a review board, potentially kicking them out of the program.
I passed everything the first time around with no remediation, but when I would go over to our tactical training unit, people were nitpicking at me and I couldn't figure out why.
Did you notice that you were being criticized for things that you were doing that other male colleagues were doing and not getting criticized
Most definitely. And the irony of that is that some of my male colleagues were the ones that were pointing it out to me. You know, so-and-so did the exact same thing and nobody even said anything to him about it.
How many times were you written up?
3. I went to a review board which consisted of all executive management, and by the time I was done with my interview with them, I knew I was not coming out of that.
And you were kicked out?
A week before I was due to graduate. And when I asked if I could be recycled into a class behind me for additional training, they responded to me that they did not do that.
So there were male colleagues of yours who were given second, third chances?
Correct, yes.
Were you offered anything like that?
No.
Lauren Rose says she wrote to the director of the FBI at the time, James Comey. While she did not allege gender discrimination, she reported what she says was a lack of fairness across the board at the training academy. Comey replied, she says, writing, "I believe I have thoughtful leaders at training division," adding, "My hope is that you will stare hard at the situation and what it teaches you."
He expressed a disinterest to figure out if it was going on.
The women also filed equal employment complaints with the federal government.
I had witnessed excessive discrimination against one of my female coworkers. So I contacted the unit chief, and she looked me point blank in the eyes and said, "You coming forward and speaking up will not go without consequence." I hope it was worth it. And from there on out, I was targeted, I was marginalized, I was isolated, I was harassed consistently.
Most of these women were dropped from the program within weeks of graduation. In a statement, the FBI says it can't comment on litigation, but values gender diversity, writing in part, "The FBI is committed to fostering a work environment where all of our employees are valued and respected."
Let me ask you this. There are going to be some people who see this interview and they're going to say, well, these women couldn't cut it. How would you respond to that?
If it was currently based on merit, we wouldn't be filing a lawsuit.
What is it based on?
Subjectivity. They pick and choose who they want to leave.
In every area of training where there was a qualitative measure of failure or success, we all met and exceeded expectations. Everybody here is sitting here because the subjective portion of evaluation and training is ripe for abuse.
It came down to what at the end, whether you passed or whether you didn't pass?
Your gender.
Do you guys think that the discrimination that you've alleged undermines the agency and potentially undermines the safety of our country?
100%. I think our biggest concern is they would keep doing it, and it would keep being a systemic discrimination issue. And that's why we all decided to come forward and speak up, because it needs to stop.
Their lawyer tells us they wanted to sit down with the FBI prior to filing a lawsuit, but the Bureau didn't respond to their multiple attempts. The women tell us that people within the academy itself
have actually reached out to them to cheer them on, guys.
And so what exactly are they looking for in this lawsuit?
Well, they want the training evaluation to change, the standards to change. They're looking for up to $300,000 for emotional distress. And this last one, really an important one, they want more female trainers at the program.
Where are they now, these women? What are they all doing?
So some of them actually work at the FBI. You know, the special agent job is kind of the great job, but there are lots of jobs in the FBI. If you don't get special agent, then you get a kind of lower tier job. They're not paid as much. Others have gone on to do other things. And these are all really professional women. Some are lawyers. One of them graduated from the Air Force
It's hard
Academy.
to get into the training academy in the first place.
It is tough. They are very committed to the FBI. That's why they wanted to do this in the first place. They have a real love for the Bureau and what it does.